Hello, friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel Simply Stocks. And today I'm going to talk about Tata Motors, a share that has been relentlessly coming down after the 2018 highs. So let's understand what's happening in the company and whether you should buy the stock at 110, rupees or not. So let's get started. First of all, a disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation. People taking any position into any share that I talk about should do that with their own due diligence and research. And I'm not in favor or against any company that I talk about. Before I analyze Tata Motor, here's a small request that kindly support me on Patreon, and that will help me grow the channel on YouTube and bring in more interesting videos for you, like I do on each weekend and Friday as well. And also, you'll be able to have a lot of idea about stocks and portfolios because I'm not able to say a lot through these 10-12 minute videos, which I could say through articles, and these articles are published on Patreon every week. So now about Tata Motors. The company was established in 1945 and they make passenger vehicles as well as commercial vehicles along with tractors, and they have a big business worldwide. So they have business in Europe and US. Majorly they are into selling Jaguar cars in Europe, and they are the part of the Tata group, and the market cap of the company is around 30,000 crores. If you look at the financials of the company, then sales have dropped by around 7%. Although they have come up with a profit of 1700 crores or just about it, but they had a loss of 27,000 crore last year. The debt is pretty high of the company. Return on equity is decent at around 24%, and operating profit margin is good at 12%. But the problem has been the numbers, and the numbers of the sales of Jaguar cars that is coming in from Europe, which were very good about 6-7 years back, has dropped sharply over the last couple of years. So, what aided numbers in the current year or the current quarter, as it seemed, a lower interest cost was one thing. Raw material cost has dipped, and we know where oil is at the moment, and with other cost as well. Oil at $50, it was $50 earlier. Even that was pretty good for Tata Motors for sourcing their raw material. So raw material cost had dipped. Other income increased sharply. So not quite the sales, but the other increase in other income also aided the profit growth number. Employee cost reduced, and the depreciation cost was very less compared to the last year same quarter, and that's why the numbers looked really good on the bottom line. About the performance of the stock has been relentlessly coming down, and from the 2018 Jan highs, so over the last 2 years or so, just over 2 years, the stock is down over 80% from those levels. And if you look at a 5 year chart, the stock is down 95% from those levels. It was trading at 600 odd rupees, now trading at 100 rupees. So it has lost around 84-85% from those levels, and numbers have continuously been weak on the sales front as well as on the profit front. The drop in sales on Jaguar has really hammered the numbers because that was the major portion of their profitability and sales numbers. Jaguar sales in Europe, especially in UK, but the Brexit problem and other problems with respect to coronavirus, as well as the European economy in doldrums, has really not helped this company. Any company that has business abroad at the moment is facing all the music because of the kind of shutdown that these countries in Italy, and Italy has and especially Italy has a northern Italy has a lot of business from Tata Motors. So Tata Motors sells a lot of cars, and they have production facilities in Italy, and with the shutdown in Italy, that is also hammering the stock down. Uh, Add to that the domestic auto slump over the last 2 years has also not helped, and this is all things have only accelerated the fall in the share of Tata Motors. So why I believe it is an avoid at the moment? The business is complicated. So if you understand the business completely, I'll be very surprised because the company itself is not able to understand how the business is working. They have got a lot of things on their plates, and I don't think they realize that it has become extremely difficult for them to analyze and understand business on a monthly basis. And that's why they have stated, the management of Tata Motors, that the Jaguar sales number, which used to come monthly, will come now after every quarter. So from March onwards, it would be quarter on quarter. So the March numbers would come in April, and then we'll have the June quarter numbers for the Jaguar sales, rather than having monthly numbers. And so again, there will be ambiguity, and there will be, you can say, uncertainty on the number of cars being sold by Tata Motors compared to, say, a Maruti or an M&M or Escorts, etc., and many other companies that are listed in the auto space, which would provide, such as an Eicher Motor, which would provide numbers on a monthly basis. So again, people would try to avoid such an anomaly and such a stock, and at current levels for sure, because the stock is in a bear grip at the moment. It is hard to forecast the numbers when you are going to you can say, announce the numbers of your car sales every quarter. So that means every 3 months. So monthly, it will be very hard to project whether the numbers are good or bad, and every day counts in this kind of consumer discretionary space. The slowdown globally, not only auto but the industrial slowdown globally, because of this virus and many other things, especially in Italy, is going to really hurt Tata Motors throughout this March. So this quarter could be extremely bad for Tata Motors whenever the results come out, because in February and March, there has been virtually no sales from Italy, and Italy is one of their biggest markets. So one has to take that into account. The domestic CV numbers is also not picking up. Even the domestic passenger car vehicle numbers are not picking up, except for Maruti. It is not going anywhere. And in the CV numbers for Mahindra was good. Escorts tractor sales were good, but you look at Tata Motors, it has been failing on all counts, and that will again, you can say, exaggerate the numbers on the downside whenever the March numbers come up. The turmoil in Europe, with regard to the virus, with regard to the economic slump that has already taken place, also with respect to whatever is happening in UK, in the case of Brexit, not completely through, and there are a lot of issues, and that's why the company is not able to sell a lot of cars there because of the economic slump. And so the European turmoil will also hurt Tata Motors big time. And you have other options. It is not mandatory to buy only Tata Group shares. So you have options in the auto space, you have options in all other spaces like the consumer discretionary and similar kind of businesses. You can look at consumer staples, consumer discretionary, consumer goods, durable space, or other financials, and many more companies. More than 50% of the company are coming at very steep discount at the moment, with the market falling. So people have other options, and they might ignore Tata Motors for the time being. And add to all these things the technical part. The stock is extremely weak, falling from 600 relentlessly to 100 rupees, and I'll discuss about the technical part later in this presentation. So technically speaking, the resistance of the stock is at 135 rupees. The 200 DMA is at 155. The stock is currently trading at 100 rupees. It is in severe bear grip, and I have no doubt that once this 105 is completely broken, then we are heading to 80. It is extremely weak on charts, and it's a complete avoid technically as well, unless the stock goes past 150. So what needs to be done? It is a complete avoid. Look for other options in the consumer space, and remember that stocks like Maruti and Eicher Motors have corrected big time. So why you have to look at Tata Motors? Have less than 5% portfolio exposure, and you'll do well. So this was my video on Tata Motors. Please like and subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so that you can get my videos straight away when I post it. Thanks a lot for watching.